Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Francis. I'm CEO and founder of MapStand. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what MapStand is and what MapStand does, and most of my talk is going to be about why I'm standing here in Sheffield. As you can hear, I'm not from Sheffield. Hopefully I'll be quite quick so we can all go off and watch the football, whatever we're going to do. So, what is MapStand? We are a startup, so we have, I think, 6 employees, and we specialize in mapping and digital data that informs decision-making around energy transition. So when I talk about mapping, I'm really talking about making maps. We basically make maps of infrastructure. The map that we can see here is a map of the sort of east coast of the UK, and what we can see on it is oil and gas fields, wells, pipelines, licenses for exploration. If you can't recognise where we are, I promise I wouldn't move. So Sheffield sits in the gap here, right there. And this is a sort of view of what the old energy world used to look like. The UK used to be powered by gas. There's drilling and pipelines everywhere. And as a business, we really focus in how the transition is going to happen between the kind of old world of fossil fuels, big power stations, to the future world of renewable energy. And to do this in an efficient way takes a lot of really large-scale strategic decisions and a lot of very complex spatial planning. How do you fit things in? How do you reuse infrastructure? And how do you do all of these things at the lowest possible cost? The data sets we build are used for kind of opportunity screening, understanding energy systems and energy flows, and we do this on a global level. This is a view of the same part of the map, now looking at the energy system, looking at electrons, so power flows. This is looking at planned and built power plants, power cables, and you can see the development of all the offshore wind. So the green areas you can see are offshore wind farms, and the brown areas are areas that are planned to have wind farms on them. And we can see the Peak District very nicely in the middle of the map there with nothing in it. The story of MapStand. So I founded the business in 2015. I worked for an oil company at the time, and I felt there was a place in the market for a much more kind of open mapping system to show where energy infrastructure was. We knew energy transition was going to happen, and the oil industry is terrible at publishing information about it, and most people didn't really understand kind of how the bulk of the energy we use travels around, how it flows, where it comes from, what's actually happening. And if you want to transition, you have to understand the status of the world today. As a business, our sort of first market was really selling into the oil and gas industry, and we plan to kind of move beyond that as quickly as possible. We built an MVP. This is a little picture of it here, and went out and raised the money. And we raised £800,000 from private investors in 2018 and kicked off a development cycle that basically led us to launch our first product after another funding round in 2019. So we launched in November. So in January 2020, we had 11 staff based down in London, in an office in WeWork, and in March, the business totally imploded. We were in the middle of a funding round. We ran out of money because COVID had hit, and all of our prospective customers, our whole business plan basically looked like it was going to fail. And we did a pretty quick evaluation of the business, and we thought, we've just spent £1.5 million on tech. What we're going to do with this, and we realised that actually the best thing to do here is to accelerate our business plan. We abandoned the sort of direct model of selling directly into oil and gas, in terms of the data that they need for exploration, and basically instantly refocus on energy transition and power systems. We went back to our shareholders who gave us some sort of rescue funds, and then we did a crowdfunding campaign on Seeders to really kind of kickstart that transition. And we went sort of fully remote as an organisation. We'd lost our office, and I moved up to Hathersage with my family, which was absolutely amazing. So I was based up here, and we basically spent 2 years rebuilding our business. We had a few customers, and we kind of built out our customer list slowly, which kind of funded our development. So we kind of went from a lots of investor cash mode into organic growth mode. And through 2021 and 2022, we were sort of building out our business, which involves building the tech and also the data sets that enable the analytics that our customers are buying. In 2023, we went for some government funding, some grant funding, sorry, through the Ofgem SIF. This is the Ofgem Strategic Innovation Fund, which funds projects that impact the power grids, or involve anything to do with the things that power networks do, basically. And that was a sort of huge change for us in terms of understanding how we can impact energy transition. We were suddenly working with all the power networks in the UK and getting insights into their problems and how to sort of build tools to solve these problems. So we've done 2 phases of this project, and by mid-23 we're now growing a business. We were sort of breaking even as a business and looking to grow our team, and the sort of natural place really was Sheffield. So we've started in Sheffield Technology Parks at the beginning of this year. We've grown our team by 3 people, who are all sitting at the back there, I think, and applied for the next fund or the next part of the Ofgem Innovation Project, which, should we win it, would be a multi-million-pound project, and really looking to grow our team here in Sheffield. Just a little sort of insight into what these sort of data sets are that we are building. This sort of shows 3 snapshots of the southern part of the North Sea, showing what our world looked like full of oil and gas. The red on the map are all the gas fields, and the red lines are gas pipelines. You can see it's a really kind of quite a noisy picture there. As you move across into energy transition, this whole area starts becoming covered with wind farms. The blue lines that you see now replacing the red ones are moving CO2. This is now capturing carbon, getting rid of carbon. And we go beyond net zero. The oil and gas industry is pretty much gone. Hydrogen, renewables, everything is around power grids and electrification. And as a business, we digitally map all of these different components, try and forecast and understand the opportunities that will occur as we go through this cycle over the next 25, 30 years and beyond. I'm not going to say anything on this slide as we're near the end, but I guess it's going to be filmed, so everyone can pause on it and have a look. But this just talks about the kinds of things that we're looking at. Reducing CO2 emissions, understanding grid capacity, building analytics around renewables and hydrogen, CCUS, and this all comes from looking at the spatial properties of it, and that's really our USP. So this is MapStand today. We're at Sheffield Technology Parks. We're really excited to be here in Sheffield. I've met loads of great people already being here. There's 4 of us based in the office on the right. We've also got 4 sort of remote staff, and on the left we have Jiling and Kiang, who joined us from the business school as interns. So we're trying to work with the universities to bring in skilled people, give them an opportunity to do some interesting projects, but also hopefully find employees of the future. So I'm going to end there.